So typically, once an item has sat for, let's say, 6 months, it might be time to move the item. Here, what typically happens is if something sits for 6 months or more, I typically do like a discount. We have a discount table, and any items that are maybe semi-damaged or a little bit lower quality or just not moving, they go to the discount table. And I usually sell them pretty quickly after that because people are always looking for a bargain or a deal, especially if you're a retail shop. Thing is let's just say you buy the piece from me that wasn't selling, and then you put it in your shop and it's not selling, or wherever you're selling it, then that's why you buy it for a lower price, and knowing what you're going to sell versus what you're not going to sell kind of alleviates that problem in the first place. So I think more importantly is smart buying, as opposed to buying things that you're not going to move because you don't have it or somebody asked you for it. What happens a lot, I think, is that people ask for items that they have no intention of buying, and then the retailers get on this kick that they have to get the item, but no one's ever planning to buy it anyway. So if someone asks you for like a really rare or weird stone that no one really carries, they were probably not intending to buy it anyway, so that'll avoid a lot of this problem too. So the question about Tucson is very diverse. This year was a little bit different than most years are, just because there was no vendors or people at the shows. I don't think everyone did terrible at the shows, but I don't think anybody did as good as they probably would have if there wasn't this pandemic going on still. But if you're a private collector, visiting the gem shows is definitely great because you can find such a diverse selection of material. I mean, you're going to pay retail, if not close to retail, if not more than retail prices on most of the stuff at the gem shows. But if you're a private collector and you're looking for really cool pieces, then the gem shows are definitely a great place to get stuff. Now, if you're a person who is a reseller or a secondary wholesaler, probably the gem shows are not the most lucrative place. I usually tell my customers not to spend their time, effort, and energy going to the gem shows, which is kind of a backwards thing for me to do because I'm the sales rep. So it might appear to people or sound to people, and I get it, that I'm trying to prevent them from finding some mystical secret that exists in these gem shows. But really what I'm trying to do is save you the $5,000 in travel expenses, and then whatever it's going to take to get your material consolidated, ship it back. Does it get damaged? Does it get lost? Were there dealers that you left material with that you didn't get exactly what you bought? There's just so many things that happen at these gem shows that really it's not the best way to buy if you're reselling. You want to find a wholesale distributor if you're a reseller. Again, if you're a private buyer or you're a personal collector, gem shows are great. But I think a lot of people, because of lack of information or like inability to find a distributor like myself, they wind up in these gem shows. And it's very interesting that we opened this warehouse in Tucson about 4 years ago, and I had people showing up that have been going to the gem shows for 4 or 5 years, like, thank God this is over for me. I don't have to walk around 6 shows in the heat collecting material, trying to figure out what to do with it, because we're pretty much a one-stop shop. Yes, maybe some of our items are a little higher priced than other dealers, but still, it's the time and effort and energy you save on travel expenses and walking around in the days of your time. I think, generally speaking, if you're a retailer and you're looking to resell, it's fun to go. If you're going because you want to have a fun time and because you like the gem show, then that's another thing. But if you're going because you're saying it's monetarily valuable, I don't necessarily agree with that. I've been going to the gem shows for, a very long time. I'm not sure how long, but I've never seen it as a monetarily valuable thing. Not, I mean, for me, I'm a wholesale distributor. I sell to a lot of gem show dealers. So obviously when I'm going to these gem shows, I'm just looking around. Sometimes you do find really cool stuff that you would never find. There's like some dude from Mexico who's got opals, or someone from Ethiopia who's got opals, and you never know. You could find some little amazing things. And we do make purchases at some of these shows. Usually we buy out someone's stock and we get a great price on it. But if you're just showing up to someone's booth and you're looking to buy 1, 2, 3 pieces, you're going to pay top dollar for the material, guaranteed. You also have to remember gem show dealers have so many expenses to recoup, especially out in Tucson when you're living there for 6 weeks. So let's just say you're an international dealer, you're going to Tucson, you have to pay for your international expenses, your shipping of your material to Tucson, you have to pay your booth fee, which is astronomical, you have to pay your living expenses, your food expenses, and then also you have to consider your time and your material cost. So typically something you'd buy from a dealer, like let's just say I was going to go set up at a gem show and sell to you at a gem show, I'd probably tack on around 40 to 50% onto my material to cover my gem show expenses. So it makes no sense for you to go and find me at a gem show or someone like myself, which I don't think there are many wholesale distributors doing gem shows. I don't know of any. Maybe there are, I don't know everything in the world, but I don't think there's many distributors doing gem shows. But I think that the general idea behind it is that if you're buying for your business, then you're buying the fundamentals: amethyst, citrine, quartz, whatever it is, rose quartz, aventurine, and over there you're going to literally pay double to triple at a gem show what you would pay with someone like myself, a wholesale distributor. So if you're buying the fundamentals at a gem show, it's very silly because you're paying double or triple. So if you spend $1,500 on material, you're really only getting like $700, $600 worth of material from a gem show. Now, if people are saying, well, I'm going out there because I want to buy really difficult things to find, jewelry stuff, or gemstones, or cabochons, or moldavite, or meteorites, I don't know, opals, things like that that are really difficult to find, larimar, sugilite, which I didn't really see much of anyway at the gem shows. You never really do. And usually it's retail pricing on most of this stuff. So you're spending $5,000 to go out to a gem show to buy $3,000 worth of stuff. So you just spent $8,000 for $1,500 worth of material if you do the math. So that's usually why I tell most of my customers don't do it. Listen, if you're going out there with $20,000 to drop on rare minerals and things like that, great, have at it, because then your expenses kind of are only 20%, 25%. Whereas if you're going out there and spending $1,500 and your expenses are $5,000, then it just makes no sense whatsoever. The question that I think originally we were asked was about the etiquette of the gem shows. Most of these dealers want cash. That could be kind of a trouble for some people, but most of them want cash. Cash is king out there, especially to the overseas dealers. So if you're looking for like establishment and consistency, then gem shows are not the way to go, in my opinion, period. You want to find a wholesale distributor who's reliable, who's trustworthy, who you get to build a relationship with, and then you can have consistency, because that's what your business needs. Your business needs consistency. Again, if you're a collector, then go at it. Have a great time at the gem shows. And as far as etiquette goes, yes, people take, now I see everyone's charging 3% for credit cards. Nobody really takes checks out there because a lot of people write bad checks. And definitely cash is the way you want to go. But if you're making $10,000 worth of purchases, then you really don't want to be using cash, because that's a lot of money to carry around with you. And also, it's harder to keep track of cash expenses. Writing stuff off on your credit cards or using a check is way better for keeping track of your expenses. As far as how you collect material goes, if you're like trying to buy for a business, I don't know. It's so tough because you're going to wind up with 2-3 pallets worth of material probably, and you have to consolidate it yourself. No one's going to really be looking to do too much for you. It's like, here's your box, have a nice day. A lot of people wind up leaving their boxes at dealers and coming back at the end of the day and recollecting all of their material, which is kind of really a risky thing to do, especially if these are dealers who you don't necessarily know. Again, I'm not trying to paint a negative picture of anybody, but people do swap stuff out, people do take stuff out. It's a little shady. So yeah, I see people going around with like the carts and the trolleys and stuff. That works pretty well.